And Ryan Reynolds, childhood teacher, reached out to me, and I wasn't going to share it, but I think I have to now because it's super interesting and compelling for those of us that are interested in the psychology of this couple.
Candace Owens posted to her stories saying she spoke to a source that claims Ryan Reynolds is the problem. She said the tip came from someone who allegedly worked on the set and said lately everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain of the saga is Ryan.
Candace Owens, the outspoken conservative commentator, has once again made headlines, this time targeting the charming actor Ryan Reynolds. Known for his quick wit, Reynolds finds himself at the center of a swirling legal storm involving his wife, Blake Lively, and her co-star Justin Baldoni from the film It Ends With Us. Allegations of misconduct, defamation lawsuits, and claims of a smear campaign have turned this Hollywood drama into a media spectacle. The controversy reportedly began when Reynolds visited the film set to review the daily footage and the script.
This person is alleging that everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. This is an industry term for all the footage that they filmed for the day. And he also decided to take a look at the script, and between the two, something allegedly set him off. This person claims that the production assistants then overheard Ryan and Blake having an argument in her trailer. Ryan Reynolds started being on the set on a regular basis as if he were her chaperone, and that is when he started inserting himself into the actual production, including writing lines. And then she says the next part was alleged in their lawsuits that Ryan and Blake, perhaps in response to her husband's anger, began inserting themselves in the effort to change lines and change scenes. And of course, the allegation that Ryan Reynolds was making fun of Justin Baldoni in his movie when he played the character Nice Pool. And we did hear this, I believe, from Justin's lawsuit, but correct me if I'm wrong, but she also says that allegedly Ryan presented an ultimatum to WME, the biggest talent agency in Hollywood, whose client roster include everyone from Taylor Swift to Justin Baldoni.
Sources allege that something he saw triggered a confrontation between him and Lively in her trailer. As Reynolds began spending more time on set, he allegedly started inserting himself into the production process, even contributing to script changes. This led to claims that both he and Lively—
So what I've done today for you guys, I've actually built out a timeline. I will share this on Instagram after the show because the timeline really makes it clear that something very much happened when Ryan Reynolds came home because of the SAG-AFTRA strike that took place in July of 2023.
We will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots.
So Ryan was away from home because Deadpool was filming in Canada and England. I know way too much about this. And Blake Lively was home because It Ends With Us was filming in New Jersey and she lives in New York. So that would have been like a cab ride back and forth. So they were away from each other at the beginning of this filming.
No Balake here today.
And in June of 2023, this is really important, things are so great between Justin and Blake. She invites him into her trailer while she was breastfeeding, okay? She's like pumping in my trailer. This is June 3rd. If you want to work out our line. So he's in there in her trailer and she is pumping. I shouldn't say breastfeeding, she's breast pumping in her trailer. And this is according to Justin's lawsuit, and he presented this evidence. So this is a fact, essentially. Nothing was wrong between Justin and Blake. You don't invite someone who sexually assaults you into your trailer alone.
possibly in response to Baldoni's actions, attempted to alter lines and scenes. Notably, Reynolds is accused of mocking Baldoni's character in the film, which surfaced in Baldoni's lawsuit. Owens, never one to shy away from controversy, has seized upon this situation with her characteristic fervor.
Suddenly, just a few days after that, on June 14th, is when the Writers Guild of America begins picketing and they halt production. And Justin's lawsuit notes that it was during that lead up to the strike, the big strike, which happened in July 2023, that for the first time, Blake begins requesting to see the dailies. So it was an outrageous request, completely unorthodox, okay, for her as an actress and a producer to be requesting to see the dailies. So like, she's home now. So from this time in June until this strike ends, she is now home, but also Ryan Reynolds is home, okay? I don't know, I feel, and I obviously have no idea, but I feel Ryan said, get me all the dailies. Not saying like, send me the 3 edits or the 3 takes. She just wants the running. Do you know how much time it takes? Like, that's an editor's nightmare.
Directing her criticism squarely at Reynolds. But what exactly did Reynolds do to land in Owens' crosshairs? To clarify the timeline of events, I have put together a detailed account that I'll share on Instagram after the show. The timeline reveals that Reynolds was away filming Deadpool in Canada and England.
Ryan Ryan Reynolds actually has a book that is published. It's not, he didn't write the book, but essentially, and this is some Comic-Con stuff, guys, like literally, like if you're deep into Marvel Universe or DC Universe, you may know about these things. I definitely did not know about these things, but they create these books essentially about all of the movies, and they're sort of these art books. This one's called Marvel Studios, Deadpool and Wolverine, the art of the movie. Essentially what that is, it's a gallery of never before seen artwork, which is the description, and exclusive lithographs and in-depth interviews with the creative team. And so they sit down with these characters and the people that created them, and they ask them questions. And I am scared. I am so scared. So I'm going to read you directly what Ryan had to say when they sat down with him to discuss Nice Pool.
While Lively was in New Jersey for It Ends With Us, their separation began in June 2023, a time when Lively and Baldoni appeared to have a good working relationship, even sharing moments in her trailer while she was pumping breast milk. This context is crucial, as it suggests that there were no issues between them at that time. However, the situation escalated in late 2024.
In the recent filing, we can now see that Ryan was panicked in general about him being apart from Blake Lively, so much so that when they first communicated with one another, okay, so this is the first time that Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni are speaking to one another, and they're exchanging text messages, and Justin Baldoni does this thing where he's just like so nice. And was like, he literally, to sum it up, because I'm not going to read Justin's entire text, he basically is like, I was nervous to even text you. I'm such a fan of you. Like, you're so great. You're amazing. Your wife's amazing. And it then says this like really almost first day of middle school kind of thing, where he's like, all of this to say, I know I sound ridiculous, but like, I just really want to be friends with you. Like, he literally tells Ryan he wants to be friends with you. And I could just see Ryan sitting there like, yes, this is exactly what I want, a puppy to kick in the mouth. And you'll do what I say. So I'm going to show you these exchanges. This is Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni. If you guys have not read through them, I recommend that you go on to the site to read it. He even extends like saying how wonderful Blake was because, you know, she was very nice to his wife, says that Blake sent the sweetest message to his wife. I mean, he's being so respectful, falling over himself to be respectful and to say like, hey, can we still be friends? And Ryan Reynolds then sends this text message. And he basically says, like, sorry for the delay. I've been writing. The girls are sick again. Whatever. It tells him essentially that he hit the jackpot with Blake Lively. She literally passes on every film and every filmmaker all the time. But the one thing I know, and I speak from a deep wellspring of experience here, having her in your court.
When Lively accused Baldoni of creating a hostile work environment, citing inappropriate comments and advances, Baldoni's team dismissed these allegations as hearsay, maintaining that his conduct was professional. Shortly after Lively's accusations, the Writers Guild of America began picketing, halting production.
Ryan Reynolds is throwing down some alpha male, and by alpha male, I mean extremely beta male, I have rich and powerful friends at the top. That's not a confirmation, but I'm looking at the length of the strip, and it's given Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift would say the same. My wife is wonderful, okay? Anyways, jumping back into these messages, he then moves immediately to ask Justin Baldoni to change their production dates because he's never been apart from Blake Lively so long. He basically says he tried to do it on his end. I'm paraphrasing here. You can go read it on the website. You know, I was frantically trying to address this. I was frantically trying to change this, shorten the shoot, but I can't because, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine is set in stone. They already booked the studio. But like, could you do something to try to punt this? And he ends it with this, which is funny that we're talking about like a sexual lawsuit and what's appropriate. He ends it by saying, all this to say, I'd have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum. Okay, so that is the skin between Ryan's parts. I don't even know how to appropriately state that other than perineum. Okay, pull that back up again. I would have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum if he, she, or they can figure out how to start 2 weeks earlier. Completely understand how big of an ask that is, but the perineum is one of the most nervy parts of the human body to expose to trauma.
It was during this time that Lively reportedly began requesting to see the daily footage, an unusual move for an actress. In retaliation, Baldoni filed a $400 million lawsuit against Lively and Reynolds, claiming defamation and extortion. He alleged that the couple used their celebrity status to damage his reputation. manipulating communications to paint.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho. And we had suspected, just by piecing together everything, that he didn't want Blake Lively to be away from him. Remember, I built out the timeline and I worked through it, and I realized that, oh, this is interesting. Like, Ryan Reynolds is filming at the same time as Blake Lively. He's also doing his Wrexham football stuff. And they're basically apart. And I'm sure he popped back a few times, but for like 4 months scheduled to be apart in a different country. And yeah, I felt that Ryan was kicking up some dust because he didn't want to leave Blake Lively alone with Justin Baldoni because he's away in the UK. And then I was positing that perhaps when he got home, he was either reading her text messages, reading through the dailies, reading through the script, and he just decided, okay, you know what? This entire production needs to be halted. I don't trust my wife, okay? And my strongest inclination for that was the fact that on the day that the SAG-AFTRA strike ended, on the day that both of them had to go back to work, meaning Ryan had to go back to film for Wolverine and Deadpool, Wayfarer gets that shocking email of demands, and basically their production gets suspended while Ryan gets to go in the UK and feel confident knowing that she's not going to see Justin Baldoni until he's back.
Him negatively and inciting online harassment. Owens has not held back in her critique of Reynolds, even suggesting he should be deported back to Canada for his alleged actions, which she labeled as high treason. She claims to have insider information indicating that Reynolds' insecurities led him to interfere with the film's production, contributing to the ensuing legal fallout. As the legal battle continues, with a trial date set for March 2026, public opinion remains divided. Some view Lively's allegations as a brave stand against misconduct, while others see Baldoni as a victim of a coordinated attack. Reynolds, meanwhile, finds himself not only facing legal challenges, but also navigating the court of public opinion.
At least aware of why his quote-unquote best friend, Ryan Reynolds, was writing in all of these lines, especially because we did the timeline and we showed you that this was not initially supposed to be a part of their principal filming. And then they went back and they did some filming after the SAG-AFTRA strike, and somebody had admitted that they had done all of that dog pool filming. I said dog poo, that too, dog pool filming at the very end of the movie. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Hugh would have known exactly what his best friend was thinking, especially because it wasn't a part of the larger plot of the movie. Hugh Jackman was also in the now infamously cringe It Ends With Us promotional skit that had nothing to do with promoting the movie, which was about domestic violence, where Ryan directed it and he brought in his mom and Blake was in the background. We learned that, but he also brought in his best friend because he just wanted a little bit of A-list power there. And when you're really obviously trying to be a high school bully, you want to be like, we're the cool kids and you're nothing. And what better way to make him uncomfortable than to promote his movie,
where figures like Owens wield considerable influence. Owens has also criticized Reynolds for allegedly making light of the situation during a recent Saturday Night Live appearance, interpreting his humor as a way to deflect from serious allegations. She tweeted that it's unacceptable for Hollywood actors to use humor to bully others under the guise of jokes. As the saga unfolds, Owens continues to frame the situation as an example of Hollywood hypocrisy.
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate.
Holy
What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
Sir, I have no idea what's happening at all today.
And so I also want to remind you that Hugh Hefner then appeared at the It Ends With Us premiere. Again, not his movie. Kind of weird that he's hitting the red carpet with them. He obviously knows what is going on. What would that conversation have been on the way to the premiere as they made Justin Baldoni go really, really early and then stuffed him in the basement? Again, this was all just meant to be a power display, and Hugh Jackman played a role in it. He did. So he was one of the unnamed dragons, if you will, in all of this. And it looks like for that, he is being awarded for his contributions with a deposition. All right, so check out this headline. You can see the Daily Mail. It says, surprising new twist in Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal battle as Hugh Jackman is pulled into the saga. And then it tells us that, according to a source, Hugh Jackman is going to be deposed before the trial because Baldoni's legal team wants to get the full scope of Reynolds' conduct during the time that It Ends With Us was being filmed. An insider also told the Mail that, quote, Hugh will be deposed if this goes to trial. There is no way that he cannot. Baldoni's legal team is doing everything they need to get a full scope of Ryan's conduct during the time that It Ends With Us was filmed.
Questioning whether the justice system will hold Reynolds accountable or if he will be shielded by his celebrity status. In a surprising twist, Hugh Jackman has also been pulled into the legal fray, as Baldoni's team seeks to understand Reynolds' conduct during the filming of It Ends With Us. Owens has doubled down on her claims, labeling Reynolds a smug liberal who preaches morality while ignoring his own misdeeds. The public's reaction to Owens' commentary has been mixed.
Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and obviously this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public's face. Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids. And he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources, like financial resources, to trying to convince the public that these bromances are perfectly normal. And we're not really asking for that convincing. Like, I don't need people to convince me that guys can hang out with one another, but he feels like he has to make that effort. So he's like, nothing's weird here, nothing's weird. Bromances are so normal. I mean, notoriously, that's the reason why he flew out Liz Plank, Justin Baldoni's podcast partner, flew her all the way over, presumably to the UK, to provide her expert testimony as to why bromances are like totally chill, right? They're totally okay. Remember, here's what she had to say in his Wrexham documentary about that.
The definition of the word bromance is just, it's a platonic relationship between 2 men. There's no female equivalent to the term bromance. The female equivalent is friends. And so the fact that we need a term to describe 2 men going out to dinner, I think, is very revealing about what men are allowed or are not allowed to do and how much self-policing there is when it comes to their relationships with other men. So bromance is almost this permission for men to connect and to show love to each other because it's like a joke.
With some agreeing with her stance while others accuse her of overreaching. As Reynolds remains largely silent, allowing his legal team to handle the situation, speculation continues to swirl about whether this is the beginning of a larger unraveling for one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. Only time will tell if this controversy will blow over or if it will have lasting repercussions. One thing is certain, Candace Owens is not backing down anytime soon.